Christmas is now but a distant memory, and the time has come around for me to wish you all a happy New Year's Day of the Daleks. I really hope this actually goes out on New Year's Day, otherwise that joke will not only be terrible, but it will also be made completely redundant. Hi everyone, TitlesKy123 here, and today I'm going to be reviewing, if you did not gather by that terrible pun at the start, Day of the Daleks. Here is the front, there is the spine, that is the back, there is disc 1 which has the normal edition on it, there is disc 2 which has the special edition on it, that's the front of the booklet, that is the back of the booklet, and that is the inside of the booklet. Day of the Daleks was the Daleks' glorious return to Doctor Who, after about a 5-year absence actually, because at the time of the evil of the Daleks back in 1967, Terry Nation was taking the rights away from Doctor Who to try and launch them in their own series in the States, and ultimately that Dalek series didn't work out, and so the Daleks were just forgotten for a while. And then when it came round to the 9th series of Doctor Who back in the 70s, Barry Letts and Terence Dicks decided to bring them back for the opening story. Actually, no, they decided to bring them back for the final story, originally supposed to be titled Daleks in London, but then decided that the first story, written by Louis Marks, needed a bit of a punch to it, and so the Daleks were moved from the final story to this story instead, and they fit in very well. Yeah, admittedly, if you know that knowledge, then you can sort of like see where they were fitted into the story, but at the same time, if you don't know that, you won't sort of like think that the Daleks are out of place here. It does very much feel like a good Dalek story. I do always wonder though what Daleks in London would have been like as originally planned, Very interesting to see a Dalek invasion story with John Pertwee. Hopefully it had been modern day rather than set in the future. But ultimately you can see that the similarities to Dalek Invasion of Earth would arise. So yeah, it's good that we got this. At the same time I am left wondering, that would have been interesting to see, wouldn't it? Maybe Big Finish can get around to it someday, do a similar story in the new Third Doctor Adventures, hint hint. I want to see the Cybermen first though. Or here, Cybermen first. Anyway, so to help with my review today, I have two very little friends, one littler than the other. It is the two Dalek Supremes, one 3.75 inch, one 5 inch, and my gosh, you can see the size difference there. My god, you can see the size difference there. The 5 inch one really does tower over the 3.75 inch one, but what makes it even worse is that the 3.75 inch one is slightly more accurate. If you look at the bumper there, that one's got the two layered one, with the slightly bigger layer on top and the slightly small layer on the bottom, whereas that one's just one solid block, if you can see that there. And that there. But anyway, this isn't a toy review, this is a DVD review. So let's get back to the topic at hand, Day of the Daleks, and it is a good story. It is a highly enjoyable story. It's a story that plays about with time travel a bit more than previous stories had done, because time travel, while a big part of Doctor Who, hadn't really been explored in such a way before, with all these paradoxes and whatnot, and sort of like the future creating itself and all that sort of stuff, and the Doctor coming into break the loop. That's all very good. It's sort of like the prior knowledge and everything, and being caught in this loop. It's all very fun to see that play out, and I quite like how this story sort of like has a slightly different narrative structure, in the fact that the exposition comes in right at the end, but it's necessary for it to come in right at the end, because sort of, if you had that before, then you wouldn't have all this enjoyment before that. So I think it does work, and then you get the, well, it was intended to be epic conclusion with the Daleks storming the house. Execution didn't really live up to that, but it was intended, there was intent there. I don't think the direction was that good on this story, especially at the end there. It was a bit of a pitiful final battle. They could have tried to do something a bit more, During these years you had loads of good stunts and whatnot. You had unit soldiers flying about the place in stories like Terror of the Autons. But here, it's very much just a simple battle, Ogrons and 3 Daleks marching around. There's no attempt to disguise the fact that there are 3 Daleks and just a handful of Ogrons, because it zooms out, for goodness sake, and you see sort of like there's only this small group. I mean, there should have been a bit more selective shooting there, like there was in the scene where they come out of the tunnel. That worked quite well. However, the rest of the battle, yeah, it was quite pitiful, really, wasn't it? I don't need to criticise the director this much, but I feel like there's sort of been something a bit more done. And there is a special edition for that. I do feel the special edition did go a bit over the top in some places. So, there were loads of different things going on there. It's a bit too much going on. And, some of those new special effects didn't really fit in with this era. It didn't really work well. Some things were improved. The Dalek voices are much improved because the Dalek voices in the original are very odd. They are a bit like this. There isn't much emotion there. And, I think they may have made mistakes. I think the Daleks are emotionless. The Daleks do have emotions. They're not simply robots, as Destiny of the Daleks would try to make us believe. And, this story doesn't really get across that in the voices, but on the special edition, when you got Nicholas Briggs doing it, he gives it much more passion in there, much more need for hatred. I mean, you can just hear it in the trailer how good it is. And, I do like very much the special edition, but I would have preferred something in the middle where we have the same story, same old effects and whatnot, maybe brushed up a little bit, such as some of the CSO mistakes, but and then just throwing the new Dalek voices on there. Maybe someone could even do that. Someone could just take the special edition one and put the Dalek voices on there. That would be. No, put Dalek voices on the original story, just so that we'd have that, because I think that would be sort of like the perfect blend, because I think, especially a bit too over the top, the normal edition has a few naff bits that could have been easily improved, and I think doing the voices would very much help that in a lot of ways. And also, we then get to keep the line, no complications, because sadly, that was cut out of the special edition. I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning was behind that, but it's quite a shame that wasn't featured in the special edition, really, because it's such a funny line and it's so great, and it really is what he is and become remembered for. And it's just a line that is sort of like synonymous with this story, really. You can't imagine it without it, and they took it away from us. And it's just the way that the first Ogon's was like, we found and captured the two humans, whatever the line is. And it's just like, was there any complications? No complications. And the Ogon's always got that smiling, and they're quite funny, especially in Spearhead from Space, Frontier from Space. Especially in that story, they're quite amusing. And I love the Ogon's, I really do. It's a shame they weren't featured more. We did get to see them in the hear them in the Romantic Crime from Big Finish, the Fourth Doctor, and originally based on the book by Gareth Roberts in the Verge Missing Adventures range. So it's a shame that we didn't see more of them on TV, because they are a good monster, they're a good bug. They get their comedy across very well, and feature in two very good stories as well. In this story, he gets to have a fun go riding his trike around the place, and he does give a good performance in this. He truly has some wonderful scenes where he's sort of like talking to the controller and, persuading the guerrillas not to kill the controller and whatnot. There are some very powerful scenes in there, and it works out quite nicely for his character in the way that he interacts with all these other characters. He also has that wonderful costume in this one, sort of like the velvet one, which Peter Capaldi is harkening back to now in the recent episodes, such as Face the Raven and whatnot. It's a wonderful costume, and he is a wonderful Doctor. I think at the moment he's my favourite Doctor. He keeps flicking between him and Patrick Troughton for obvious reasons, because they are two magnificent actors, two magnificent Doctors. And, here in this story, he does give a very strong performance, very powerful performance. And, he has a bit of fun there as well. You can see he's enjoying riding the trike around at about 5 miles per hour while the Ogons slowly walk after him. Not much that can be done about that, really, but, it's a fun scene. There is a bit of a problem, and of course, it is scene where he shoots the Oberon without no provocation or anything like that. I feel that could it have been cut out? Maybe, I don't know. Even the special edition, they have him shoot down another one, poor thing. You know, it just doesn't sit right. But, you know, it was over 40 years ago. There's not much we can do about it now. It's a shame that it happens, but ultimately, you know, it doesn't detract from the overall story at all. It's just one little moment that makes you think, that was a very doctorish thing to do, you know, just shoot that Oberon down for no reason. Could there have been a way to reshoot it? Possibly, I don't know. Maybe there would be a way to edit around it, I don't know, but you know, ultimately it does just feel a bit, well, not a bit, a lot out of character for his Doctor, well, for the Doctor in general, really. And, you know, to do it without provocation as well, that's just the worst part. You know, if he was under attack by that Oberon, maybe you could forgive him for it. But yeah, I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here, aren't I? And you know, ultimately I don't mind it. I can get over it. I can just get over that small part of the story which bugs me. It's not a big part. You know, it's blink and you'll miss it really. But nevertheless, it is in there, and it, yeah, it's one of those ones. But other than that, I love Jon Pertwee in this. I love Jon Pertwee in every story he's in. He is such a good Doctor, and you know, gets around the comedy quite well, and also gets around those serious elements quite well. He is a good balance, and as the song goes, he is the Doctor. He also crossed the void beyond the mind, but anyway. Katie Manning as a Jo Grant, and this is great. She's sort of like the, not, I was about to say typical then, but archetypal, let's say, archetypal companion of the Doctor. She's very much the one that's remembered for being his companion. He did have Liz and Sarah Jane as well. You know, out of those three, I think Jo Grant worked best with the third Doctor. You know, she and Jon Pertwee have a wonderful rapport between them, and she is such a good companion. She developed as well, you know, from her first story. If you look back at Terror of the Autons and then moved on to the Daleks, you see that she's changed quite a bit as a character. Since then she's become less clumsy, and there's some wonderful bits between her and the Doctor here. And yeah, ultimately she doesn't get too much to do. She does have some interesting scenes with the Controller. But yeah, I think she's a good character. I like Jo, and she's very good in the story. But as I was talking about the Control just then, let's talk about him now, because he is a very interesting role as well, and he develops quite a bit as well. It's quite interesting to see his character. The fact that he starts with this sort of like standard bad guy, a bit like an Imperial officer actually, my brother pointed out, sort of like pointed out the similarity there between him and an Imperial officer from Star Wars. We can very much see that there, now that he mentioned it, so well done for him. He's not going to watch this movie at all, but I'll congratulate him anyway. But yeah, they do. He does very much feel like that at the start. Then over time he develops a bit more. You sort of like see this warmer side to him, and then the Doctor saves his life mentality. That's the moment where he thinks, is he on the wrong side? Could there be a chance for change here? And then he ultimately betrays the Daleks. And you know, I sort of feel like there could have been a bit more there in the fact there's this other character there as well, sort of like spying one, and then gets the main role. I feel like his role should have been developed a bit more, because I believe he is the same one who sort of like tortures the Doctor at the start there. Yeah, you can see he's out for power and whatnot, but you know, that side of him didn't really get explored enough. You know, that character was just very much off to the side. Felt like it should have been a bit more, maybe, I don't know, or shouldn't have been in there at all, maybe, just sort of have him as a random thug. And then sort of like you could get away without having a Dalek listening and whatnot and exterminating him. You know, that role didn't really need to be there, because when it is there, it feels like there should have been more of it, maybe. And it's a bit of a daring character, ultimately. But yeah, nevertheless, the Controller himself, the original Controller, I think Aubrey Woods is the actor. Maybe I've just pulled that out of thin air, but that's a name that comes to mind. I'm probably wrong, but yeah, that's, well, just, yeah, that's who he is to me. Yeah, he does a very good job actually. I have heard some criticisms that he's a bit Shakespearean. Not sure what he's saying like that by that. Maybe it isn't Shakespearean, I don't know. But I think it works, and yeah, it's a very good performance, very strong performance. Maybe it's a bit theatrical, I guess. Maybe that's what they were saying. I can't remember honestly. But yeah, I think that sounds about right. theatrical. He does have a bit of that going on there in the way he performs, but it's nevertheless a good performance and a very good character as well, very well written by Lou Marks. And it's quite surprising that he didn't actually write that much for Doctor Who, and actually the things that he did write were quite spread out really, because he had Planet of Giants, I believe he wrote way back for the William Hartnell, and then he came to do this like 8 years later, I think it would be actually, and then he does Mask of Mandragora, and I believe there's one other Fourth Doctor one somewhere, which just isn't coming to mind right now. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting how, as a writer, he's very spread out, and he doesn't seem to have a particular style. Maybe it's because the stories he does write sort of like very much in different eras and sort of have different styles of their own, and because of the long gaps, his style obviously changed between them. But nevertheless, he is a good writer and he writes very good characters in this, and he also takes the idea of time travel and does a lot with it here in this story. Does some very good things with it, but makes it quite understandable for viewers as well, and does a bit of a better job of it than some other stories have done. So yeah, I do quite like that side to the story. The story's not perfect, but it's a good reintroduction for the Daleks at the time, and it still goes down quite well because of the time travel element. It tries to do something different with the Dalek story, and maybe it does that because it was originally intended to be a Dalek story, but I think it works quite well having the Daleks thrown in there, arguably at the last minute, but ultimately you can get away with that. It is a highly enjoyable story. The Ogrons are great in this, no complications there. I'm sorry I had to. And good characters all around, an enjoyable story, a fun romp, but a bit more going on there as well. So it's an 8 out of 10 from me. I'll give an 8 out of 10 to both the original and the special, because I feel that while the special does some things better, it also does some things worse. So yeah, it ultimately evens out to about the same, I'd say. And ultimately I would recommend picking this DVD up. Even if you have the VHS, it would be quite cool to watch the special edition and see what's changed, what's improved there, what hasn't improved there. I think it is worthwhile picking this DVD up because it's only about £5 or £6 now, so you've got no real excuse. Thank you all for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Exterminate!
Emergency! Emergency! Emergency to all units, national HQs. Stand by for a special announcement.
The Daleks have discovered time travel. We have invaded Earth. We have changed the pattern of history.
I want to know what you're doing here.
He's the sworn enemy of the Daleks. He's the one man they're afraid of, don't you see?
You are the Doctor. Now you are in our power.
It's our only hope.
Changing history is a very fanatical idea, you know.
If we don't act quickly, it may be too late.
The Dalek Empire will spread through all planets and all times.
Run, Doctor! Run!
Benson calling Unit HQ. Benson calling Unit HQ. We just can't hold them, sir.
Eliminate all humans. Exterminate them.